SCB, Regional Director, Electoral Commission, also in Temha. On any deputy and a name also the Mr. Ebenezer Tete Odonko. After your officials from Honorable Yusuf Suleimana, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Your Mr. Martin Kweku AEC, CEO of Minerals Commission. On one Sunday, Rara Kunting, on so in Temha. After your Miss Victoria Awuni, or your Deputy CEO of Minerals Commission. Your Professor Jerry Samuel Yaukuma, on your advisor to the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. After your Mr. Benjamin Ayi, or your Chairman, Policy Review Committee. Your Mr. Joseph Iroko, on your Manager, Legal. Your Mr. Miss Mausi Malfina, Director of Communication, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, on Suaha. Your Dr. Ahmed Tijani, Manager, Corporate Affairs and IT, on Suaha. Your Mr. Paul Dawson, Regional Manager, Ashanti Region, Minerals Commission. Your Mr. Eric Emmanuel Bukari, on your Deputy Manager, Small Scale Mining, on Suaha in Temha.
John, and also the boss of Senate, and sit down what things in Biara, a crabby, and every solution. I buy I am a home for me. Somebody now so is it an animal, a 7 year with a home, and not in a buy one about an animal also. 7 years, maybe over 7 man, and I was in. Is it the area I want to say? You are 2 years old, and what you home, and Baba can I go so about.
You try here, my deputy minister, deep board and name, and chief executive, and my bunch, woman, a better church, and name,
my deputy minister, a deep board name. 70 or do whatever churches in heaven.
You told me, you know, so you were not mobile. I was a Yaji woman, I was here, ma Yaji to what Daimo has said, and no, they asked Ladyship Justice and I tell us what my buana, Yamo Moncahon, no more Eka, Emrano, Abashi Shenwa, natural free necro, heard you, my dear, you want to become who be me.
You see, you told me, you know, and I go home on the side. Ah, so the other house of Hamwa, and Mount a miracle. So they said, who side Mountain, so a man coated, Sabi, also happened. Or about the Museum, you have been answered, a memorizing data, was inside on some part of the house, you know.
You told me and son near Bay, yeah, or say, Mampon, or Frim. National House of Chiefs, I was 7 years will be more cussing at night. And also, near my electoral commission for about some Berena, ye nipa no be kwa kusi ya na wo no.
John, so to so be san. Now say mo su na for hene free reading na no you know you myself. Now we House of Chiefs. Internet say na mo bomba. Na say every House of Chiefs Ashanti reading, ye say dem ti na ba na say no so nipa akosi say reading and then move on.
It was the Dikan best leadership na ya friend na no I was a year to Nansan a befitted my dear Seno. You are much more we are almost wet to me. I can't want me. I be to only a best I'm an editor. I am my.
Dikan ye bet swear the oath, official oath. Na needed this one so abaso. From Cho say me both dinwa. Because I na mudimudia shem. Na near chance no so makam. So we take the official oath. I and a member of the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs do in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will at all times well and truly serve the Republic of Ghana in the office of a member of the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, and that I will uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana as by law established. So help me God. We will then take the judicial oath. I, and member of the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, solemnly declare that I will well and truly exercise the judicial functions entrusted to me, and will do right to all manner of people and in accordance with the laws and usages of Ghana, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God. We will lastly take the oath of secrecy. I, and member of the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, do solemnly swear that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my official duties, except as may be required for the discharge of my official duties, or as may be specifically permitted by law. So help me God. Thank you. To watch and patch up me here.
And I mean, I'm Jay and Mamma Quaba, some Babua woman made Media, you are no, I cost to come.
Don't say something, you're right. When you're not so the idea will come over here to the Hano, or will be a coso, or Master Manager.
A chairman who said they are tossing me no so.
Yo,
Ye Mekano, National House of Chiefs, independent or say we're free Munti, the Bakushimo.
instead of trying to say, that's what the Tuesday, the bedroom. I'm not going to okay, the they say, Jababushi.
Yes, sir. Gabin, Utios Rebo, never quack with in a night.
Since every year, the Tuesday, but I said, no, two Rebo, no Jabin, they don't have a night.
I think so, or no, says here, one more banner, the House of Standing Committee or Bedano.
So I started so we told you, you how to sign up with tea, run as a badano.
Every registrar now, what's Minana Ama or no so Abraham.
So register.
Dinah.
No friends of Nana.
It says Dinah says me from Pong, Electoral Commissioner, Director, Regional Director, Waha.
Say, the man now says be from Pong. A year letter commission, when you put down on Abuja and the human, say better.
Miss Rawani de Casa. And Nana Otuo Srebo Tosuminu Daben Hin Ena Otumfo yi ne se onka ahemfunum a omokosi Ashanti ane House of Nana Mamponhi free muno. Yes, Nana Otuo Srebo a Otosumienu Dwaben Hin ene ebesi na name. Intene Mijan Electoral Commission na name. Eje Nana Otuo Srebo etumu se of Ashanti Regional Rep for the National House of Chiefs. Bidamasi.
Just about the guy called National House of Chiefs 1975.
No, to see what the crime for National House of Chiefs 1975.
50 years ago, no call.
If you prepare in the call.
And Aquaba, Nantiba, and I'm seeing the Obasako, no as our program.
Since a buy was no to see what if you do now, and then start to Wasako. Our you know, said the net, but then
I brought in and now I know Queen and never hope. But
no people, and never.
They said, yeah, Wabako, Korema, Kumoin, and Sumja, a Bompata, and
Yo,
woman as also, and 9 more.
Since you were can't, that's nine. Yes, a bit, another boy, Bompata,
and 9 months are me.
The 9 water down. I don't mean answer that. No two people come home and say,
they will become one more correct, my dear.
come home and go with dear. Say, as a shadow, I got my idea.
Get them all say, Yo, I'm back camp on my egg.
This is what I must say. Don't you have a couple more? I must say, house, you will give you a say, Opemsuo.
Chairman would say, register,
Register.
I said, in an supervising I called you when electoral commission said, Woman, we are be a woman, Juma for near Momoko, Momoko.
The real is a bit. Everybody will do my dear. And that quite a home on the Chayura.
I will do my survey. So
I'm so excited that I've had the opportunity to be here and to witness this historic event. Is something that I'll never forget of. This is the most revered house in the traditional setup of this country. And so for me to be privileged to have this opportunity, I think that I'm going to put it as part of my live encounter and to refer to it that my children should be proud that once upon a time their father had the opportunity to participate in this very important program. Your Royal Majesty, the Ashanti Opemsuo Chairman, the President of the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, Nananom, our distinguished chiefs, elders, and honored guests, the CEO of Mineral Commission, and our revered board chair, and the board member who is representing the board chair, my colleagues from Minerals Commission, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Once again, let me say good morning. It is with deep reverence and gratitude that I stand before this August gathering of the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs, the custodians of our rich heritage and the stewards of this great land. I bring warm greetings from my boss, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Emmanuel Ama Kofibua, who regrets his inability to be here today as he has to attend to a very, very important and equally pressing engagement. Indeed, last night around 7 o'clock p.m., he gave me a call and said that the president wanted to see him this morning at 11 o'clock. And so I have to stop whatever I'm doing and come here to represent him. He wants me to sincerely apologize to the Overlord and our revered chiefs for his inability to be here. He has also asked me to tell the Overlord that he will find a special time to come and honor him once again. Today, we gathered under the wise leadership of Opemsuo Tutu II to discuss a matter of crucial importance, the review of Ghana's Minerals and Mining Act 2006 at 703, which has been variously amended over the years. Nanano, the Ashanti region has long been the heartbeat of Ghana's mineral wealth, particularly in gold, which has sustained livelihoods, driven economic growth, and shaped our history. Yet, we always recognize that the full potential of this wealth has not always been realized for the benefit of our people. Under the leadership of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, his government is committed to ensuring that this time the review of the Act corrects the imbalances of the past and secures a better future for the benefit of all Ghanaians. The Ashanti region is not just a mining hub, it is the home of the traditional bond between land and people, and where royalty has endured centuries. However, the current system often sidelines the very custodians of the land in decisions that affect their communities, and this review seeks to change that. No mineral rights, whether for small-scale, medium, or large-scale mining, should be granted without the full involvement and consultation with the traditional authorities. Your endorsement will be a key requirement in the licensing process, ensuring that mining aligns with the needs and values of our community. Government is also committed to empowering Ghanaians to own and operate mines, even at the large-scale level. As we talk now, most of the large-scale companies in this country are owned by foreigners. It is the commitment of this government to ensure that Ghanaians are able to take up large-scale consignments and, with the support of government, to be able to drive the most benefit that we're supposed to get from mining. We will introduce policies that will prioritize local investors and ensure that the wealth from our soil benefits our people first. We are also introducing what we call the Cooperative Mining Scheme, an initiative that will allow local cooperatives under the co-guidance of Nananoms to own and manage mining ventures in a structured, sustainable manner. And very soon the CEO will take us through some of the details. The profits will directly fund community developments such as schools, hospitals, roads, and also create jobs. As we talk, most of the activities or most of the things that we get from our mining, especially the community mining, which we are now moving into a cooperative mining, is nothing to write home about. This time we want to ensure that the communities benefit from the mineral deposits that they have. And to do this, there's a need for us to consult the owners of the mineral resource. And the owners are the ones that we are talking to today. Your Royal Highness, your visionary leadership in promoting responsible mining and land preservation is well known. From your interventions in Galamsey to your advocacy for sustainable development, you have shown that progress that progress must never come at the cost of our heritage. You'll be able to combine or blend whatever benefit that we're supposed to get without forgetting our heritage. And we need to applaud you, we need to commend you. I don't know whether we can clap for His Royal Majesty. This review presents an opportunity to formalize and expand this leadership that you have been championing. We seek your guidance to do a few things. One, to ensure mining benefits Ghanaians first, not just the multinationals that we are dealing with. Two, we want to seek your guidance and to ensure that we protect our lands and water bodies from degradation and pollution. We know you are doing a lot, but we want to find a legal framework within which we can support you to be able to do more. We intend to support cooperatives and local miners in building lawful, profitable enterprises. It is the wish of the president that small-scale miners will graduate to become large-scale miners. And we can do that if we have a legal framework with your support to be able to achieve that. Nananom, the success of this policy depends on your wisdom and partnership. We therefore invite your inputs on a few things. One, how best to integrate traditional oversight into the licensing process. Nananoms must participate in the process of licensing these cooperatives. Hitherto, chiefs are there and people will walk to them and say that I've been given a license to come and mine in your community. This time, His Excellency, the President, is saying that that should become a thing of the past. The chiefs must participate in deciding who mines in their areas. And this is very, very important. You cannot have your mineral deposits sit in your palace and somebody will come and fly a letter over your face and say that I've been asked to come and mine in your community. The mineral resources belong to you, and you must participate in deciding who mines it and what benefits you get from it. We also intend to ensure that we create ways to strengthen community ownership under the cooperative mining scheme. We have abolished cooperative mining, community mining, and we are asking for cooperative mining. The difference is that with cooperative mining, the community, the chiefs, stakeholders will own the business. Hitherto, under the community mining, individuals were the ones who have control over the system. And this is what the president, working through his minister and our Minerals Commission officers, want to change. We also want to ensure that measures are put in place to hold miners accountable to the people and the land. Once you have this framework, you cannot mine anyhow and leave the place anyhow. The chiefs are there to supervise you. Minerals Commission officers are empowered to supervise you so that you mine responsibly. Your Royal Highness, together we can craft a policy and rules that honors our legacy while securing its future. Your Royal Highness, on behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani, my own Minister for Land and Natural Resources, who is committed to ensuring that the natural resources that we have in this country benefits the people. And on behalf of the government of Ghana, I extend our deepest gratitude to His Royal Highness and the Ashanti Regional House of Chiefs for your continued leadership. Let us do this together, and we believe that by the close of the day, you will make relevant inputs into this policy process. And at the end of the day, the glory shall be to you and all of us. On this note, I want to thank you for giving me your audience. May God bless us all. Thank you.
And I'm also wearing 2 caps. One as Penny Order Minerals Commission. And number 2, Miss Sansu Yakuntina, Miss Son Ashanti man. The idea baby hear me pa. Na nobody can say I offer Ashanti man ha your minds. I can see pa and 9 Obuasi 1897. You can say 126 or so years. That's what on my report, crown with my crown 60 years crop, Silamulo. And I say was the biggest gold mine in Africa. Was sentiment thousands. Newmont, I have. But what I can say in about 2 months or so, I'm going to be a new mine. I have of 30 kilometers. The and then Asanko. Box at in crying can't some year. My energy fast. What you watch on with the special thanks and medium overload. Your Royal Highness. Mijay the same Yamaha office na AC. Na anti recently lady down bon for craft say hotel. The first the market says yes, you are Ashanti man there. If I can say a basic office sama Ashanti man. And just by building to Lebanon, I think the most iconic building in Kumasi today, Ashanti Regional Office of Minerals Commission. And the inspectors now measure Newmont at Newmont a half. Asanko no boasinya bibia bedede no ehonum be adwuma ti otufo chiame me da your honest as a pa for all the assistance one maye so the minister kan no yes samra no the amabo so ye proposals are aban dey ba you be your man number 2 weeks no match for honorating memorandum because into me we be and they will take it along. Yaya Central, Yaya Western North, Yaya Savannah, and Yaya Borga, and there was something. Nobody can not least know your man 30 years. Our buying Sisa in Sisi Obama upper limit 15 years. In share down on 15 years. Now we are seeing typical Obama 20 to 30 years. But I say government that decide this you be more 15 years. I mean, shall say lead to be about 15. You bet me about 5. You bet me about 8. You bet me about 12. But yeah, more than 15. You see, the first change here, no more 30 years. That's the first one. Number 2, prospecting license. As a Ghana pen. No, the river that Nkofokita prospecting license 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It's like I say, Galam say the biggest problem as I see about small scale for your newbie. It's a mining company, BR or Ghana. Almost every mining company's concession has been invaded by small scale miners. Over Newmont, Asanko, BR small scale for go as illegal miners. To me, I feel so. Your perspective, so your tissue, your benefit, baby, and small scale for no. Ghana near my prospecting lines forever. 3 years, no baby renewal. 3 years, no renewal. The both countries now, countries, numbers, almost like a case. For example, South Africa, almost 5 years out. No more renewal 3 years, and 8 years. Baby, going to me and caught into mining now. Go feel. Namibia 322, that is 7 years. South Africa only a 5-3. Burkina Faso 333, 9 years. DRC mark 10 years, 5, 1 more renewal. Tanzania 432, that's 9 years. Sierra Leone, number 4 years. Number first number 3. The another one 2, 9 years. Mali 322. What's your mean? Countries we are not apart from South Africa, almost copy Ghana word for word. We have French for law school because it's French, India English. Ghana and Kwan and Kofokit and prospecting since 20 years, 30 years. I pass as a small skill. And the sheer minds from you do 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, sorry, 7 years. There were more 3 years, no some more 2, no some more 2. Almost the proposal about so young 9. They call Central Region last 2 weeks, and I was in almost in Tisuka, almost in 8. And the answer that here and I said then 7 and 8 or 9. But the crowd will say, you have prospecting license forever view. So that's also one significant change about labor. The other one is again, we share the whole of Africa, Ghana pay. And a mind and performing chance in Yancy share. What you don't share me, the Omoya Kobana Omopan Omoya, in fact, I have a foundation, 17 villages. But because voluntary, they can trust pesos, voluntary, Obasi require voluntary. But Omoya almost see Queen Sabia Janan Kra, Omoji tax woman. We have decided in Session, everyone said. The co-parliament to every mining company will have to sit with the chief and the community to sign what we are calling community development agreement. You're very compulsory. You're in Africa. The Hamilton say, Oko Tanzania, Anglewood for a mine, or Gita mines. Some journal is here. How much you are 1% of revenue. But how much gold now? 1 ounce, normally $1 to. And now, almost declare profit, normally 1%. What about you now? Your profit, no anything. And me a calculation, crazy last year. Me for new month, half. Last year, gold $1.8 billion. And I'm sure 1% now are buying battle companies now from farm charge no me share because you're suggesting 1% of revenue on gold now. And share we buy Tamanka last year we share gold now for 4 ton yeah. Okay, $18 million. Okay, back on an animal community. But the open no more it is this company bia Ashanti bia ni nanamba chance I share. So that is also one big changer government about the economy they call so am mind for no opposi almost year crowd here kai should. The fight was whether it should be 2% or 3%. Into the proposal from government is 1% because other countries are more within 1%. Another significant issue about the development agreement and why into a year from so far companies may send a kita Obuasi new months and a growth and just a more moving to here. Near signing chef near the co-parliament near Tia Morality, so near Tia Swam, near Tia Swam. I feel so. And development agreement say a binding share be bar Omuntia. To make I said 2023. The then finance minister introducing 1% stabilization levy. Say company behind here that time na equal amuchemu. This year so government I have from 1% to 3%. We took for some year casting no months and now they are mutia. Go first Omuntia. And I'm go Ashanti Omuntia. Now in kitten relative to them to say Sanko moi. Said you among my saying Susan Newmont, almost 3%. I did say the year for me. The Omokita is here and you're very negotiating. And this I will say, or 2 for chairman, say, yeah, can say, I have full of on my base in 2 months, a very ready. A bit cost $900 to produce an ounce of gold. And I go to 3,300. So say almost see a pa. I mean, we have resetting. That was also another big achievement. Then, we are drink a credit. You say, current and almost 3 months in now. I said, because I never go on the other day. If you see someone, once you finish mining, all immovable properties, that means hospital, bungalows, we are also in your you leave it for government. And you are the to our government. The government will have to sit down and decide what to do. It's a hospital, Ministry of Health. So bungalows are police, decentralized because we could be who's a hospital but next we need to be a veteran. Then they have to sit down with Nananu to do agreements. Because as a new government there, it is a wabeji to for assassin, Eddie Asima or Hafu and now boss here. We be a Crescent Hospital, a better but it's not in the government there. It is almost like this Minister of Health, say Bangor police station, only man but transit. Now, my lease, say 90 years or 50 years, and what's going to say a buying labor. Now, 1986 loan, but meaning gains your web bound for a year. Until you realize, yeah, I bet sure you're lost. So that is also another proposal. Yeah, they back to change it. Mamunka another pointer, Nananumpa, Maboba also said, ye pass it. Company in another chance I and she share compulsory 1% of your revenue every year. This year, you projected a new month revenue 2.5 billion. Until you can imagine $25 million, 1% for the 17 communities in a half. It's a lot of money. Apart from royalties, I become another. But currently, that is not the law. Another initiative here introduced in the law is that the big credit nobody call international arbitration. The big credit more big prospecting in the end. Small district, not the bank on landing or the local US, but boy, carded. The ability said, the international arbitration war and money, you better stand to high court. Because only South Africa for a problem on Johannesburg High Court. Now then, South African company, Babaha, now from Australian landing. So that is also one significant change that we have brought. After you said, your minister Kai and the correct G2, so for so be brave, wanting and I'm not complaining. Oh, I'm not. Obi African, so me crata and it's sharing the idea. But the first thing is, and some of you this applicant and a company, you don't know about any of the more in your crata, some map in this area, everything. Currently, what we do is that you shepherd in Gazette notice. So that's the first thing. After that, you're going to introduce it and be our own you will have to arrange with the traditional council in a manner customary accepted to them for Minerals Commission to bring a company. So, say, of South Africa, of London, or Bawa South is for good. Now, I know be some questions be the only entity be and Sana, Nanamu Tuma, near processing. Until these are the changes that we are coming to. Say, after this law, paramount chief or any chief will sit down and say, me fin crime. Your mommy list, maybe too good, what Bequana, Mampona, it's a thing of the past. So, these are the new changes that are coming. Some people say, we are welcome to views from Nanano. So, I'm also another change, which we think that it will help us. I think Minister, I decided to say, the BR starting from the district level.
no more Accra. Say they call districts. And Nanano should be members of the district committee. Nanano we call Central Region, we call Western North and our Western Region last week. I think one of the proposals which we took away is that the chief says they want to chair the district mining committee. I think it's not a bad idea. So it's something we'll look at it very well because EP will Minerals Commission will and police or immigration will be our. By the time regional inspector no process crack and doing crime, no back because right from day one, Nanoni was consulted. And then one thing we also don't do very well, some people do it out of respect, is what we call customary entry. Yes, no chance. You know, Uber consultation, we check the district committee, Minerals Commission process, minister signing. But to me, you have to come back, come and see the permanent chief, and this time around, Minerals Commission will bring the company and say, no. Company and the character, it's only some cost started. Then you have to get your blessings before everything starts. So, best suggestion is that it should be done in a way customary accepted to the people, thereby, etc. So that everybody knows from day one. So we know this company. Yeah, the moment someone shares here, they've got in their lands, almost about. So they say they are about to start. So when now we put it in the regulations, and it's a lot there to take. So that is also one other changes. After so, we pay information or this is called a website. This information of every mining company. A very complex is the Minerals Commission back to your website. Production volumes, royalty, BRT. Sometimes how many pass a whole parliament chief can leave Ashanti or any part of Ghana, just walk to Minerals Commission and say the data on how much royalties has been paid last 2 years. It is not the best. We want to put it on our website and also make sure that I perform your 7 daily reports. And also the government wants to introduce to change the mining regime. Then the other one too is that they are afraid of this stability agreement. I know part higher. Now you should be better also for 15 years. In Chichester, what you don't count into new months, no go those, and then go to page up. Say a page royalties to 6%, so royalties 5%. Oh my God, your banks don't count into stability. You push it from 15 years to 5 years. A democracy because they can say Ashanti stability. Into Minister of Lands announces good price because will be until 7%. No one to over but Sanko are 3 times smaller than you have to pay. Keeping from yes, the plan is that we reduce it to 5%. Then the consultations, if we require scientists to 2%, 2 years, and then film. So that is also one other change that government is also recommending. But sometimes, but sometimes also you say, obedient billions are so only protection can create. Like I say, a normal company believes that or not doing fan parliament for ratification. This is a bank. So you make our discussion say you are the mercy of the government. When you carry a strong cubic decision, so it wasn't ratified. So what we feel so we confirm the bill is on the bar no be one or man release. You find the mission man so within a certain period, a minister did to release we call parliament for ratification. We are proposing 60 days. Between if they are the couple moment 2 weeks and now 1 month, so that the company will not be at the mercy of, let's say, government too. So that is also one of the changes that we are also bringing. They are coming there normal. For example, we are law geological survey department. Ordinance is to geological survey authority. In general, say your best is so we the answer boss will be brave. So that's also one other thing that we are talking about. Also, so another significant change. Ghana man can say only large scale or small scale. But me crying what of what you small scale I need no time and you know ACC. And then Okotakwa, Oko say before the deputy minister free say all the small scale concessions on underground. And underground conditions would be a drop people nti I feel so say health and safety no small scale underground the same as large scale. Nti they create 3 types of mineral rights: large scale, small scale, and then now you're introducing medium scale mine. Nti medium scale you better either say it was small scale, but 2, 3, 4 years and you I do no hit rock be. If you want to apply, are converting from small scale to medium. That's one way. Like if you could be that could be or savannah, almost small scale. Almost to the water table. Almost to could be. You can say your normal large scale license. Almost to me yet. Then you say no. You better me convert to medium scale. Now normal minimum standards. That's one way. And now you better medium scale. All these abandoned shelter. British colonial government agile go on go on ebetumi convert also into medium scale. Into the level of investment uko Tanzania, the investment is less than $5 million. I'm seeing a small scale. If it's 5 million or less than 100 million, we are medium. Into a more large scale investment do $100 million or a large scale. If the government say we can use level of investment. You know, to use the nature of our body, or where deep do the underground into the small scale view, you now medium. And now, you better production. Production, a dozen do so you can be small scale, convert into large scale. Until we many of the small scale mines automatically we have to convert them into large scale. And also, that's why we reduce accidents and then we can regulate them better. Then the other one that I want to mention, but I think it's government policy. Mr. I, who was CEO of Minerals Commission 13 years, our chair policy, no long lawyer, no CEO. About this idea said almost the beer mining one as in your office. Until decentralization. Office where I see any Kumasi Uko Tamania CB or 5-story Tapanso until we are all over the place. And Kenya see and all those villages in Ashanti where mining is going on, your best office. It be better satellite, it be better district, it be better regional. With time, satellite better district. With time, district better regional. So for example, Boli until recently was a district office. But those shared level of activities need discovery. Yeah, in regional. Your district office or Kenya. So these are some of the changes that we are bringing into the new mining law to take care of your concerns and your complaints over the years. Law currently is 19 years. Into next year, March, you're bringing 20 years. You believe pass your new engagement now. Because municipal parliament will rise by July. Over September. Hopefully, chair by late this year, we are having a new money law to take some of these interests. We cannot pretend we know everything. You can say Central Regional House of Chiefs, sure, 3 years ago. Almost 2 weeks. Almost comments are back. They praised some of the comments. Some of them they said no changes, and almost the additional comments by because meaning said we cannot take all the questions today. So unfortunately, after the session, everyone and number 2 weeks. Now, any additional comment, I will say no. Where you get but no kakra na me say and 9 years now mo dey mom no teach to be 6 years. All these were accepted. Unfortunately, no person at this stage, Madam Masi. So that I took my seat. Thank you very much.
It is my singular privilege to stand before His Royal Highness and this august house. For me, this is the second time I remember the first time in 2013 when I came with the Honorable Minister Samuels to discuss Galamsey matters. Then I see you. Today, I'm helping the Minerals Commission even as they undertake this engagement. And I'm very happy to be here and to meet His Royal Highness once again. Today, as we come before you, as the CEO has indicated, it is to bring before you our proposals to review the minerals and mining policy. Indeed, I believe that the documents have been circulated. If not, they will be submitted to you. So I'm going to do a very high-level summary of the proposals. So we all together, we can receive some comments today, but within 2 weeks, we'll be very happy if you could give us any additional comments that you have. So by way of talking about the policy. The policy is basically the plans, the principles that underscore decision-making for a body, in this instance, government, as far as our mining sector is concerned. Whilst government will lead in this, there are very important stakeholders, one of which is the members of this August House, chaired by His Royal Highness. And so government will lead out, but we will all pitch in to ensure that we work within these principles and be able to get our sector going together. So going forward, I'm sure His Royal Highness and many of us know that before 2014, indeed we had a number of scattered policies. But never did we have one document called the Minerals and Mining Policy Document. This was adopted for the first time in 2014. And it required that after 5 years, if possible, we should revise it, consider changing what's in it as needed. It's gone beyond 5 years, but in 2023, the Chief Executive did put together a technical committee to propose any revisions necessary for the document. And the membership is as you see on the screen. So we appointed this committee in January of 2023, and we submitted our reports in April of that year. We were to do 3 things. The first was to look at global emerging trends which affects the sector, and see whether we needed to change our policy because of that. The second is that government policies get to change. So even as they change, we need to reflect them in our document as well. And finally, even as we implemented the policy, we noticed some challenges which therefore needed to be addressed. So among the things that we did was to update the data or information in the 2014 document, the first document that we had. Secondly, to streamline it to ensure that duplication is eliminated. Of course, there were some changes as well, which were very critical. For instance, the element of climate change, which had become very important since 2014, needed to be reflected in the new document. So the proposals that were made was to take note of what we call green or critical minerals. These are minerals which are needed for us to transition from using the hydrocarbons, that is our petrol, our diesel and so on, to more sustainable sources of energy, hydro, solar, etc. Interestingly, even as we do the transition, we get to use more minerals. So we need to take that into account in our policy document. The minister has already mentioned the transition from community mining to presently cooperatives. But then the emphasis of government was community mining. So the document you'd find, the first, our proposal highlights that. But a very important aspect is what we call improvement in ESG standards. That is to say, environment, social, and governance standards. These have improved over time to ensure that our activities in the extractive sector are more sustainable. And of course, there were institutions who didn't exist then in 2014, but which by 2023 existed, which needed to be brought on board. The final one we did was to emphasize the need to be more broad-based in our looking at the sector, not to look at just mining, especially of just gold, and ignoring other minerals, but mine all the minerals possible which can promote development, ensure that we do things beyond just mining, add value to it as well. So having submitted this to the Commission in April of 2023, stakeholder engagement started. We met with key institutions, individuals who are needed in the sector's progress to ensure development takes place. But not just to tell them, but they certainly have input which we need, especially revered leaders like your good selves who interact daily with the people, sometimes know a lot more than we know, and therefore your input is very important to us as the Chief Executive and the Minister did say. So we met with the board of the commission, we met with the chamber and other mining stakeholders and civil society in the first year. This year, we have also met with academia and other research institutions. I'm sure as His Royal Highness will know, and the gathered here, gathered here, small-scale mining is very important to us as a country. Indeed, today, small-scale miners produce more gold for the country than the large-scale sector. So they're very important. So it was decided that we should go to their level and have meetings with them. So we have met them in various sectors of the economy, of the country 4 times: the Southern Belt, the Middle Belt, the Northern Belt, etc., as indicated on the board. We have also met the National Development Planning Commission. We have met the Parliamentary Select Committee on Mining as well. And very importantly, as we speak, this time of the year, we are meeting the revered houses, the houses of chiefs, because you are very important, and we're making time to come to you, present our proposals to you, and listen to your good selves as well. So today we are here, and this is what we're planning to do. This is 2 years after we submitted our report to the Minerals Commission. So a number of things have changed, even in terms of government policy, because government has changed, even the party in power has changed. So there are new things we need to bring on board, which are not in the proposals, the document that you will see. But we're highlighting them because we need to bring them on board. Some of these, as I mentioned, are the green mineral policy. A lot now has happened, and we need to reflect that. Secondly, dealings in gold. There's been a change to the policy of the Gold Board, which centralizes all gold dealings, as has been brought to our attention. Again, as Honorable Minister did say, there's a shift from community mining to cooperatives as far as small-scale mining is concerned. Again, Chief Executive did say that now government has emphasized that it is going to introduce a medium-scale mining. The Chief Executive again mentioned the decentralization of their operations. There is a green minerals policy. I'm going to skip that because it will be in the document that's given to you, and going to look at the core aspects of the broad policy document. So the first chapter in the 2014 document covered, you would see, up to 1983-84. The mining sector declined up to 1983-84. Those of us who know the history will remember that the production of gold declined to the point where it was only 182,000 in 1984. Bauxite production went down to 44,000 tons. But from that point on, following the change in government policy, there was been an improvement up to today. So the writers of the first document broke the document up into that. But writing in 2023, it's been decided to streamline this. So now the first chapter is going to focus only on the context for the policy document, the scattered policies documents which became the written document that we have, and also what led to the revision, the changes that have to be made. So chapter 1 will focus on that. As we go to chapter 2 now looks at an overview of the industry. Indeed, that will give us the history of the mining sector in Ghana. And very importantly, it highlights the challenges, the problems that are associated with the sector. The first edition highlighted 14 challenges. In 2023, we found 6 additional challenges that needed to be dealt with. And these led to the objectives that we highlighted. So you'd find that there are a number of objectives that were highlighted. But even as we highlight those, remember that it should be in the context of the broad national development agenda that exists. I want to highlight particularly for this Against the House, one of the objectives, objective number 12, which says promoting social harmony between mines and adjoining communities. Mining, extractives generally, and a lot of times economic activity, when they get to be carried out, tend to sometimes create animosity, even conflict with the communities they are joining. So in this document, we are saying it is critical that one of the objectives the sector pursues is to ensure social harmony, that is, between the mining operation and the communities that are joining it. So moving into chapter 3 talks about the principles that should underscore the policy. And there are 20 of them which we think still are very relevant. 3 of them which I want to emphasize are these. The first one is local content. I think as the chief executive of the indicated there are a lot of investment, particularly the large-scale sector, is from people of foreign origin. However, the minerals belong to us, and therefore the benefits should accrue to us as much as possible. Local content is the way, in terms of ownership, in terms of participation, and so on. So local content is emphasized significantly. Then again, the extractives generally tend to be quite opaque in the operations. If you're outside, you don't know what is inside. So we're saying that we should make them as transparent, operations as transparent as possible, so that when they become accountable, we can ask questions and ensure that the right things get to be done. Then we talk about equity. Even as investment must be made and benefits will accrue, the benefits should be shared equitably. And very importantly, ensure that the operations respect the rights of communities that host this mineral development. This is very important, and I believe we in this Against the House would appreciate this more than anyone else. Chapter 4 talks about regulating the mining sector. The mining sector can be quite unpredictable because until you mine out the resource, you don't know exactly what you're going to get. Sometimes what you anticipate to get, you don't get. Sometimes you get more than you anticipate. So the regulation should be robust enough to cover the whole range. Not to be such that when there is a change, then we start changing the regulation. So robustness is very important, but again, equity in this. Chapter 5 goes on to talk about the licensing regime, mineral licensing. Before we propose the amendments, the 2014 document recommended that the Minerals Commission should ensure that we put in place a modern mineral cadastre, that is a licensing system which enables investors to be able to apply easily, and the processing should be very transparently done. They have done that now, called an MCAS, and so the new proposal is that they should be documented as such. But even as we do that, there is an emphasis we want to make. That is to say, effective consultation with mining communities is important, a very important aspect of the licensing process. And I think the Honourable Minister and the Chief Executive have both highlighted this, so I'm not going to dwell too much on that. Chapter 6 talks about environmental regulation in the mining sector. Again, as I mentioned, the ESG standards. These are very, very important because typically the investor is interested in the economic benefit which comes to him. Again, governments tend to be interested in that because they will get taxes. But then there are impacts which tend to be negative if we don't manage the environment well, if we don't manage the relationship with our communities well, if governance is not done well. So ESG, environmental, social, and governance standards are very, very crucial, and we need to do that. So the emphasis which we want to bring to the House is Royal Highness and the House is that government's objective is to achieve a socially acceptable balance between mining and the environment within the regulatory framework of the law. That balance is critical. Even as we might choose to mine and get the benefits, let's protect the environment, the relationship with our communities, because when mining is finished, the communities will be there. So the impacts must be managed. So that's chapter 6 for us. Chapter 7 goes on to talk about occupational health and safety. Mining necessarily comes with hazards and risks for those who participate in it. So it is so important to ensure that we manage the activities such that we minimize, if not completely eliminate these risks from the operators themselves, but also those they interact with, the community and all others. Indeed, even livestock and other animals that come into the area of operation should be protected. So this will mean they put in place systems which will include the processes, the equipment they use, the chemicals they use, and everything else. So we want to emphasize here the minimization generally of occupational health and safety hazards when mining takes place. We are also saying that child labor in the mines should be a no-no. Mining is too hazardous for children. So in our communities where mining takes place, we should discourage children from going. Even as they grow up, we want to encourage them to learn mining and do it right, but not as children. Then we talk about the Minamata Convention. That has to do with mercury. Mercury is the communist approach that our small-scale miners adopt to extracting gold from all that they mine. It is true, it may be cheap, it is easy to use, but it is slow poison. And in our interaction with the small-scale miners, we have told them that we don't want you to use mercury, make the money today, and when you have the money, you are too sick or dead to enjoy the money. Indeed, unfortunately, it doesn't affect only the operator, but it is such that gets into the environment. It settles on crops, gets into water bodies, gets into fishes, which we all participate in, and therefore we all become sick. So we want to discourage that. So under the Minamata Convention, what Ghana has signed on to, we are trying to encourage the use of technologies which don't use mercury. So that's one of the things here. Again, there are incidental diseases that come with mining and other economic activities. We want to reduce them, if not completely eliminate them, including HIV, AIDS, malaria, silicosis, etc. So the policy is very emphatic on this. Chapter 8 talks about the fiscal policy for mining. largely taxation. It is true we all need to contribute on taxes to enable government to function. But the reality is that if we focus on only taxation, then we'll get the small end of the benefits of money. So the policy acknowledges this and says that government should look long-term and ensure that all benefits possible from money should be reaped, rather than just focusing on the taxes. So the emphasis here is to, in Chapter 8, it's a fair sharing of revenues generated while attracting investment to the sector. The other part I want to emphasize here is that government has signed on to what we call the EITI, that's the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. Within that framework, we have government, we have industry, and we have civil society represented. The essence of this is to ensure that even as taxes get to be, or payments get to be made to government, government should use them appropriately and transparently so that we can all see. And if we need to ask questions, ask about it. So Chapter 9 is artisanal and small scale money. And the key emphasis there for us is to promote appropriate, safe, and affordable technologies while maintaining adequate ESG standards for the ASM sector to ensure that it benefits the investors, the operators, but also host communities. Here we are saying that if we look at the 1986 law, PNDC 153, that was the basis of legalizing small-scale mining. It said that Ghanaians ought to have livelihood. Some of them want to be in mining, but don't have the capacity to comply with all the standards that we have set up under that law. So government can provide for a reduced standard to ensure that Ghanaians, not foreigners, we don't owe it to any foreigner to ensure livelihood, but government ought to assist Ghanaians to have livelihood. So Ghanaians only should participate in small-scale mining. And so here we discourage fronting for foreigners, but then say that even as we want to encourage Ghanaians with minimal inputs, they should at the same time operate safely using appropriate technologies to make the benefits but protect host communities as well. The final chapter, substantive chapter, is Chapter 10. And Chapter 10 takes a very broad view of money. It looks at the entire value chain perspective. It says that we shouldn't just pick and choose, but we should carry out exploration to find all relevant minerals and decide which are relevant for our development. When we find them, we shouldn't just mine them and ship them out in their raw form, but as much as possible, add value to them. As much as possible, make sure they link up with the other sectors of the economy. Then we can benefit across board rather than just some taxes which we will get from that. Very importantly as well, even as these benefits come up, we are saying that host communities should not only participate, but should be transformed by the benefits that came from money. So that's very important, and in doing so, operators should respect the rights and interests of landowners, local communities on whose land mining gets to take place. If we are to do this, then we can maximize the benefits from mining, even as we protect ourselves against the negative impacts that it can bring. The Chapter 11 then talks about some institutions which didn't exist before, but which came into force after 2014. Some of which are the Minerals Development Fund and so on. These the institution of chieftaincy has been recognized as a very important one. So in 2014, it was already recognized and it is in there. So subsequent to that, we just emphasize the matter of engagement, stakeholder interaction to ensure that together we can craft something which will be in our interest together. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm running your assassin. If you know, I did back one, maybe some. And after questions in the small scale, some of my prospecting licenses, and I know Mutia. Say, I want a Kautia, and large scale, or Mutia. With us.
Munya baby grandpa ma small scale for no enye nti mo petenka omo years na mo de ama o mo teso yes nka mo nya baby de ama small scale adwuma o mo yen na nan mo sa so no mo ye adwuma yi small scale for so o mo tua royalty indi fanza me na na dankanya hene mo ho yi ma sa be 1000 acres ho ke large scale no nya me boa na senka bibi bamu a obetua royalties. The bia asatun bia ya 1000 acres ne dey small scale mining. Omo ye adwuma also. Omo tun tua royalties bia. E dey emfaso na no ebenya. Every royalties small scale. Omo adwuma omo ye. Ndi mi dey nka mi susu se obi oye small scale bia no. Obana na size so a. Enam se yenim de bia the quantum of gold a utu no. I think I'm young Rabbi. You who say, I feel be an apple and some biana. So, yen and so attached to Juma. Royalties be silly, and as with Tiama Namanum. The entire mamma cast out a man was I saw a man says out. Or that forest. Will be a budget, Yaman 10 years. Or too good to the BB filling station, Kumana. Until royalties. Won't you be that? And you know, say, about the atmosphere, say, one function, now small scale miners, no. Our moya, you know, Omuntia royalties, a man and an to in your source.
Panemi Pacho, say, yet you may, what the atman say, you review Emrano. As you review Emrano. What jai licensing no anna for small scale and some of the guso. The entire makers say, and I know you're the ya. The family be in office. What the letter from Mineral Commission by Semaman crying to me too. My small scale mining, I will family, the Pamon, if in office, since you hook you. Yes, I must see a review, dear. I didn't know Mineral Commission who cost swagger license no Emma.
We have proposals item 30. So begin the item 30 or the item 30. Now, the formulation what kind of manual? A holder of a mining lease shall sign a community development agreement CDA with the communities that may be impacted by mining operations. Communities. Maybe we got a division of community there. But we are the Igbo community. I'll be able to set up Kingdom Crowd. Oh, and a experienced mining company. About me, I could try a non-existent, nondescript, microphobia, no, so because I'm in the community. I don't know, explicit say, shall have a man with the appropriate traditional landowners. Okay. Make chiefs because baby or what landowner no not your family. But you must recognize the aristocracies in the family system. Until no cancer, obey subsidy why or him. Now, 1% sabio, I am for so a better short change. Until some nana, you say, a bassa, no sir, what's the community there? Obey, I'm not trying in the bank of TV. One agreement. na ɔhene kora ɔtɔ no wonim ho hwee sɛ na ama bɔbɔta yɛn kan no adeɛ nso sɛ ɛwɔ bi na wie bi ɛsate yɛ no up to 1857 na 1901 na ne na ase nyaayɛ dea na from 1962 ɛna akwan 26 ɛde minas na ɛkɔhyɛ president ase ɛna afiri hɔ aba saa na sɛbe deapotɔm na afei ɔkyi sɛ ɔde bɔm bi nti ɛhɔ no deɛ mɔdama mohwɛ a mohwɛ ne yie sɛ ɔne de ayi community bɛyɛ adwuma anaasɛ ayi a community de ɔwura anasa ɔbɛte hɔ no na obi wote ɔhene te hɔ na obi a ɔmfa ho koraa ɔso ɛne ano akɔyɛ agreement ɛnie madama mohwɛ hɔ yɛ man ɛna deɛ ɛtɔ so bio wokasa no wokasa afei sɛdeɛ no menya na afei so hɛnkaeɛ no na nanom bɛyɛ ndɔs ayi mining applications no ansa na aba but mmara no wankyerɛ bo sɛ ɛnam sɛnti no yɛkyɛngyi sei ne abɛkyɛ mmara no mu anaa bi a act clause 10 yɛbɛdelete ɛde clause sei aba a ɛbɛyɛ binding sɛ deɛ mɛka mmorɔfo anka mɛka sɛ deɛ ɔkan asim sɛ declarations of intent wopɛ no saa but mmara no nso nkyerɛ saa nti sɛ nkyerɛ saa no sɛ woanya obi a ɔno ɔwɔ hɔ a onim ahemfo ɛho mfasoɔ ɛho yɛ tumi a ɔbɛhwehwɛ no na afei ɔba a ɔno deɛ ɔpɛ ɛna ɔyɛ badeɛ deɛ mmara no pɛ anaa deɛ boa society no nti sɛ wonya wo de ba nka amendments a mode ma no mɔmeɛhu the existing act no ɛne amendments a mpɛ sɛ moyɛ na sɛ yɛn nso yɛpɛ sɛ yɛ review bi a na wɔde ba new clauses a bɛsɛ de hyɛ bom so yɛhwɛ introduce saa clauses no but we restrict here to amendments nkwan deɛ not start for your ability to even offer new suggestions wọ́n sɛ deɛ wabiem ahodom no biara sɛbi obiara fɛ mu mbie na it shouldn't be restricted to deɛ wɔpɛ sɛ wɔkwan wɔyɛ wadaroma nti mɔpɛ sɛ yɛ de bibi ba meaningfully bi a deɛ mɔde ba no the current act 206 act 703 nyinaa mo pamra monya corresponding to it no the clauses a wɔpɛ sɛ change ɛna deɛ mɔpɛ sɛ wɔde ɛka ho nso a ɛba no wɔmɛmfa nka ho mmra na Ghana for holistic view no yɛnyinaa nso yɛntumi contribute bi na ayɛ saa deɛ a deɛ mode bɛyɛ deɛ mɔde ama ɛmmoa yɛn papa
na mpɛ sɛ busa biribi but dodoɔ no na n'adwabea aka na neɛ mepɛ sɛ mebusa ɛne sɛ nhyehyɛe na yɛpɛ sɛ yɛde seesei no ɛyɛ top bottom approach ayɛpɛ sɛ yɛ no bottom top approach tɛ biara no yɛhu ne sɛ top bottom no deɛ anyɛ yie seesei yɛpɛ sɛ yɛkɔ bottom top mining so ɛnyɛ simple saa isika ɛnyɛ de small scale miners a yɛka a yɛka fa meka ne sɛ ɛtoɔ no ɔmbɛtua man wɔn ni sika no bi koraa musoma atwerɛ ahyɛm sɛ within 6 months from issuing of the mineral license also to be develop a community development agreement. By that time, now 25 acres now with the man, no a mining weed in Sikapo. Until Honsi idea, I'll see a share. Because 25 acres, Majumudi, Issa. I did my small scale miners.
But I can't imagine. What is the concept? It's not my day. If a person knows what I've been probably at this one, as you know. The blood to be free is free and for cut out my woman when say about such a way. No, Miss Woodley, the sister, baby, men also, was a constitution constitutional. It was not to consider ya. So, we go on, such a thing to say, you are bad. That's such a thing you be. Who got to be about such a thing? You say, oh, no, no. So, my only one who has a little bit about that's a constitutional. It's money day. If now, because cancer be a half. Saturday, Edia. So, you know, day. The Bible was saying, oh, you don't know, I couldn't know, nobody knows if you know this is here. But you can best if you see and no, I'm not so sure to for. I was so somebody who had so it was also echoba.
I refer to the constitutional provision. It's another new crime because Constitutional Review Committee, you know, and I bet me that thing. It's one of the things is a almost Constitutional Review Committee. But I may be one, not me that and I should be the last person should do that also as a chief. So that's my answer to that. Your case is legitimate. In fact, your core central region. In terms of the servicing, because servicing is also process, you know. Central region House of Chiefs, almost the servicing bar. Because last year, you called National House of Chiefs, you know. Not mistaken, you serve the chief at that place. So, for example, if we be the application, many of the back Konongwa will not typically serve, even though that is his area. But when we make at the National Association, serve the paramount chief, serve the chief, and then also serve the regional minister. If we are both been into the process, 3 years ago, we saw Central Region, the process go back Central Region, serve the traditional council. Serve the traditional council. That's how they said. Don't because the paramount chief and all those are informing now. Don't serve the traditional council. I'm the frame meeting. Your core Western regions, they also said the same thing. I may respectfully ask Nananom whether they also want to go along with it, or I'll take advice right from here. Because they find Nananom, you serve the traditional council and now open certain categories. That's my response to that. The other one to me, the landowners, because in Ukraine, the underlying factor was that when we say sit down with the community now, we mean the paramount chiefs. It's the best example to the landowners. I think so. Regulations now. You know about the film to make sure say I'm open and say I'm open the captain because we are in for France and it's the best example. Me answer the other questions we are. Unfortunately, no business. I'm also more penalties. Central regions for Nigeria now. Young service traditional council process. We now we should still go the typical traditional way of doing paramount chief and all those things. But the other one it's not a problem. Assembly, mosque, regional minister, no problem. But I want to know how Ashanti man wants it when you are serving a process on them. No, that's it. Right. And then the other one thing is that we not be found royalties, I think. But unfortunately, Ukraine, small scale for almost royalties that. If you say binding under the cooperative scheme now, and for 4 count, part of it will involve the paying royalties. But then the question is, what about never part of the cooperative scheme? As an individual person also pay license. They are also going to now start paying something to the traditional council. That's why we are changing the law. So every person. Then not before suppose can you more than the month 10 years, 5 years renewable. So what we are going to do is that Ansana only I for concerning the community development agreement. So the board to us say you must sign before you start work. You have to sit down and sign. Like for example, we are not licensor. This is called GEP, not the chief inspector of mines here. Ansana what shall see it. The same way, relocation. You have to finish relocation before you start the mine. So I don't think it's a bit higher before you start work, finalize the community development agreement. In fact, over public hearing on the EPA process, you can start discussing with Nanano. It will be a plenary of EPA and send the local ratification. Now, she shared the data. So I think it's in the right direction. We'll look at it and make sure that we follow that. We'll check Kenya Mras and finalize everything with the chiefs before you start it. Small scale firm, almost to see the equivalent of $100. Afibia for the annual mineral rights. But said America, media, as far as I'm concerned, my main is right. Only royalties that. The institutional government, even under cooperative scheme, with this new amendment is to allow them to pay some amount of money to Nananum. And yes, I change I bet from the royalties. I bet me a 12 year, you know, the transaction and agree on some quantum of money that should be paid to the chiefs and the traditional council. We don't necessarily have to call it royalties. So it's a share about so don't buy don't try $100 I feel as a mineral right because we work our process, you know, or be a map or be a surveyor and we work up last case for per block, almost $700 per block. Mining is $300. And the Abandonance Commission, share inspectors, see dining and because this cover buying fees man, BB. So that is my answer to that particular question on how much the large scale people pay and then the small scale. So I think that is it. The other one, the Constitutional Review Committee, meeting our partner, me face me or that mandate, and I'm a dada, and then I feel so me a lawyer, and I think that one, Ashanti can do a strong petition that take a look at Article 257 again. What concern will be that? Make hyper. That was the same response from Nana Mampoini. I want you to be able to or not be any honor, me my BBR. Or try by into the Opemsuo Commission say that obi the be properly man for hope na any idea about processing into many official responsibility be in town. And then the other one too has to do with the small scale. Nana, we can say the social media is was it 2-3 months ago minister announced that license be from December or so no after so Abraham Shisha after the committee on review all the processes. Fortunately, Dr. Minister and the chair is a minister will buy on young sign license be in respect of that or 6 Shisha answer. In the manner where the other number, I'll follow up on that case personally for you.
And I've started to learn a lot from our very chiefs here. First of all, there was a request. There was a request for the extension of the period. I don't think you have addressed the issue. He's asking for an extension for them to be able to do a good job. So instead of 2 weeks, the request is that it should be 1 month. I think we have to grant that period. So instead of 2 weeks, it should be extended to 1 month. The second issue of some people coming with small-scale licenses. When the NDC administration took over, the first thing the minister did was to suspend or cancel or revoke all licenses that were given out after the elections. And so if anybody comes to you with any license dated after the elections, it is invalid and the person should not be allowed to use it to mine. The minister has also asked me to chair a committee to review all small-scale licenses. God willing, Monday, I'll submit the report to him. I won't go into details. But the number of licenses that we looked at, about 1,278. From where I stand, only 316 didn't have problems. The rest will be able to raise issues with them. And so once we submit the report to the minister, this is the first time I'm disclosing this, I haven't even told the minister. Once we submit it to him, the appropriate actions will be taken. Let me also say this. You cannot make a law for a nation like Ghana that will exclude some parts of the country. One is a law It is a law for the whole country. The difference is that this time, instead of a chief sitting at the palace and somebody will come and say that a license has been approved for me, it starts with the chief. So if the chief is not interested, when they come at the very beginning, you tell them that this is my territory, we are not accepting small scale mining. Go and look for another place. But it will be difficult for us to make laws that will exclude some parts of the country and say that after this place is a no-go area for mining. Then the issue of payment of royalties. There is a law, Section 25 of Mining and Minerals Act 2015 requires that small-scale miners should pay royalties. I think it's about enforcement. And so we will vet our minds to this law and make sure that we get them to also pay the royalties. Let me finally say that we are here because we believe that by the time you be here, by the time you bring your inputs, we would have learned so much from you. And so whatever we are doing here are just proposals. And the law-making process is that we have to engage stakeholders. Now this law will come to, this bill will come to Parliament and we will take it through all the processes. So whatever input you make here will be taken on board in the law processing journey. But because I stand far, I can't see the name. Nana, who's at the last seat there? Nana Jabi, wonderful. You cannot ask him or ask this house to amend the law that they haven't seen. What is the default in the current law? And what do you seek to amend? All this must be made available to them. And then again, clause by clause, we are taking this clause out. Why? You say the reason. We are bringing in this clause. Why? You say the reason. We will make all these things available to you so that you at your leisure time can go through the bill one after the other. No, this place that they say they are bringing this, no, they shouldn't bring it. Our opinion is that they should do it this way. So you can create a column and put your remarks, then you submit that report to us. I have so much confidence in this house that at the end of the day, you will help us to do a law that will stand the test of time. I'm grateful.
I'm repairing your committee no one so dear. Ya dwene nyina na ye de abramo bosome no na duro.
Yo since she pa man she se be efa odie se be se mo nyina no. Mo de mo she nyina na so aka nyina no. E ba se o ma se. Na o ma ko beti a chance. Na mo se be she bia se mo se she bi no. Be she mra pe mi po no mo she a sa ko ti no de mo report ja ba.
Ya person anan mu hu ne se. Minerals Commission there. Emranda wo ho no nom de fa so aye na ebo ye ne wo se ehun ne se ya tena ho am ya constitution agi ya japa de nyirara de ahye nkrata no ye ntimi nka ho asem no go si de se be se ho ma fe so amore ana mo hu se ye na mo na chance ama ya ti otumi nyina de ko constitution no awa se be ne ma le se na mo tumi se de no e je de ba de nyina ko se sa no de tumi ka ho asem pim de ya trom rad ko ya truck constitution ya kwatra mo bi e nyina ya kwatra prince so say asase ne de na de na de wo from de aban de a
a chobra de apostle constitution say be ya asase de na de a e de pade o mu de say be aban de a am ya kwatra mu say house am ya jatu
ana achichire yen
say na no ana achichire de say
the Minerals Commission, the almost she said the amount says corner about the in a was and no more your home craft, auntie. Ya Percy as a son of the Constitutional Review Committee na wasi enu omo kansa saa nneema we nyina monhwe ne yie maye.
See last which is mba share the home and say mo no na no every kwa ba so ba say we ready say ba to ade aba na be say be tumi ya dey place no say say dia na say na no na say be committee a eye position no na so mo trust na say be ba aba
Omo de ya ti on says ka ko na agudi e wase no na ho nhyehyɛ ne kwan ba so ebetuo ene ho sika aban die no say ne ebeche no no na da wo manim aye
say dey say tumi ya no mo say saa ko no a say be da ho a mo be so ma aban no eno ho nhyehyɛ na say be mo be pa so a say da la say no be twa say be obi to go do no a ho nhyehyɛ ene ma say say ba no ho nyina ya to edimu ene ho sika die say be ya ni nyina no ebe ma afa no pa so I don't want to know no transfer.
And no na wo de abasa na na me mo badwendwen ho ye ho se ye ntua royalties ye nye we ti kwa ba na e be fa so e be ya ma na ye.
So no transfer so na no badwendwen ho say kwa bi so pure royalties e bia say be kwa ba to good no na ye de say we be go ni na no transfer say we no ye san to say
what you are will be a trocrata mobi no dia ba no amo amane na ba wo asase so no mo ne ye kan ho asase
so 200 trocrata abo bi say we go do abo tu na ya mo na ma ne no eno mo ne ya ba na say e ba kwa be so
ya no na wo say adwendwen ho ne ye boa wo ne ye nyina hu se ne ye be
say na na no nya adwendwen ho ne boa wo say ne e ba kwa be so say be na so bi ba
na mom de wo mo pa wo say ye kan no ne say
yo
ye transi hunu say
yo
Constitution no de dan ya prince wa me atwa hyem say
yo
woti ho
yo
obo ase ya de list ni na ne ya kire ko Seychelles
yo
ya na ko Seychelles na ni ha
yo
ana no abrofu ni na be kwa no ne yi mo koda do no sensa agreement no
yo
for 100 years
yo
ana mo go say
yo
e ba ye sun ye 1999
yo
ye dan ye tibis ye ka say ye da bi ade no 100 years na sun tie san sesa na afa de ye ne ye hu se ye na asase no wo ye
yo
ye anya
yo
ana ato aso a je say no sika akọ no enra na ote so asase no wo dia
yo
aban say ni nyina ye wo mampanyin ote so na ehwe so ma wo
yo
sa na che
na
wo na ye say ntotobo aba de Minerals Commission for nhwe man
yo
eno ne wo mu ne ye ka ho ase tom de enya ama ne ye ne aban enya abo se yetimi ka mo me nka no
yo
na ye hunu ko ye de be fa so a Constitutional Review Committee no ho na de ye de be kwa akoto om se sa ne ma we ene ha ye nti mo hwe no se mo ye constitution dia mo se no se sansa na Mineral Commission for so atimi dia ye se ene free na crusade ne be
yo
na se bronika se makuti asase wo denyase sika akọ wo so
yo
na so te so dia na se investor bi ba no opa ada ne anya equity na Minerals Commission mo anu nka se asase na what so gold na what so much say kura yem fa value to any eti denyase traditional council wo mu 30 40 50% wa wo ba so wo mu sa
yo
ada ne eti nka se be kwa sa na che
yo
na da bia ye ni abre royalty no na mo ni age ho
yo
royalty tekunda man ne ni age ho
yo na no you say no say je o na e bra se be kwa so kwa bu man se de ma na se na e double sheets se be na project na ba na se be na be kwa he mo da se ni ma sign ka de ma pure ha no so ye se be e ba na se e bi se sam be se I just say we echi se the woman has not said about dia it is be no na ada o be people ne the last year last commission body say say no we don't say e bi already say ye dia ne ba pa so e bi say be utu ho a chocolate na say obi kwa sa so be so no ma ma ne e no mo na ma bi ho ne mo ya bi kwa ya ba so a timi say be e ye constitution review no e be kasa na sa tu no a say be ye table say no na ye tell say be tuma say be bi e no tu no e be gba tu ha kwa so de ma ye no mo ya de no ma yi sa de fu e no ba wie ansa say be last week so say ala se bi o na na nti bi ba e na ba bi ho say be obi say na de na se ne e to ho na say be so we ba sa so a ka bi say be o no me group ka o be ya e de obi 40% e bi ya o no no be so 40% bi ya de ka de kwa assembly about e won ma saa no ɛna sɛ me sɛ yɛyɛ ka ho asɛm yi ɛnkasa to review soma ɛyɛ saa de ho asɛm na yɛdwene sɛ me ɛyɛ rights sɛ wɔga pere no de yɛdwene ho dɛbi ɛna yɛdwene mmoa sɛ me ma nkɔ so ɛba omi yɛdwene kwan ɛba so a saa constitution review na wɔn bɛkasa na aban te na nam ase na sɛ me tu na sɛ me di nam hɔ na sɛ me yɛnya aban class na hyehyɛ papa a bɛhyɛ ahyehyɛ ɛna yɛwura ka ho asɛm asi
sɛ deɛ yɛ minerals commission deɛ ne aban deɛ wɔsi yɛ ka sɛ mine no sɛ yɛde mu obiara ghanafoɔ ne yɛni kan fama wɔ na ɔmo no ne aborɔfo bɛ partner yɛ partner ne sika no nka ha
last week so ɛka ho asɛm sɛ mine no sɛ yɛde ma deɛ a ghanafoɔ a ɔha no ɛna yɛfu sɛ bɛyɛ sɛ yɛde mo kane na sɛ wɔne obi bi wɔ amonɔne ɛbɛka bɔn bɛtu a ɛna ɔka bɔ mu na sika no ankasa no kɛseɛ no ɛnka ha
wɔbɛgye lease no a wɔni sika no ɔde akɔfio to wɔ stock exchange na ɔno de adwezi sika no ɔde ato mfidie bɛyɛ wɔ ha
sɛ ɔbɛgye lease no a na sɛ wɔno de asɛm lease no aba akɔgye sika wɔ akyire na ɔbɔtu no ɔde sɛ ɔkɔtɔ mfidie ɛde bɛgu ha
na ɔkɔfio to yɛ ɔgye sika no nipa ati wɔ yi ɛne yɛ mmeranteɛ ne ababaawa abɔ nti obiara mfata so ɔno nso tumi de kɔgye sika no bi
ba so kɔfio to yɛ asɛ wɔde kɔgye sika no ghanafoɔ a ɛwɔ ha no yɛmɛ sɛ ba wɔn no yɛtumi di lisi na gbogbo ti sɛ ɛsɛ no bi na sɛ bɛ yɛ gya ma wɔn na wɔde gbogbo mu kurom na sɛ bɛ yɛ ha de ahokyerɛ ɛwɔ ha.
ti sɛ twumgya na bi wɔ hɔ na ɔno form traditional council no kɔ apply for concession wɔn nso de kɔ ne yɛ kɔ floatu na yɛn nso yɛ nya sika no bi yɛn tumi fama yɛ man no ma ne ma yɛ.
sɛ bɛ sum na ɛna sɛ concession wɔ hɔ na sɛ bɛ ɔno de traditional council no ɛkɔ di lisi no a ɔmo sɛ bɛ traditional council lisi no ɛkɔ bɔ tu sika wɔ hɔ ɛtumi tɔ fɛn ɛma fidie ɛbɛku hɔ ma yɛ ɛdwuma ma sika no ɛnka ɔbɛn mu yɛ a.
sika kɔ na ɛwɔ hɔ no yɛ agyapadeɛ nti sɛ kura hɔ a wotiri deɛ nti na buroni anaa obi fira bɛgye no no na ɔde kɔgye sika wɔ australia ɔde kɔgye sika wɔ ɛde aba sɛ wɔyɛ investor. na yɛne adeɛ no wɔ yɛn no a yɛte hɔ no nso deɛ yɛnim nade ban sɛ yɛn nso yɛ investors.
sisɛ bi ne nyinaa na yɛ rɛka wɔn asɛm no saa akɔla yɛ agyapadeɛ yɛ ghana man dea na yɛ ma obi funa ama ne man so na wɔn de ɔbɛgye na wɔn de lisi no na wɔde kɔkɔ ti sika wɔ baabi na wɔde bɛyɛ na sika bɛ nyinaa no wɔde kɔkɔ ne man so na sɛ bɛ ɛbɔ na sɛ bɛ yɛ kuma ne yɛ a ɛyɛ yi.
sɛ obi ka sɛ south africa johannesburg ayɛ yie gold a. wɔn ma ne wɔ ɛyɛ nyinaa yɛ south africa foɔ na yɛ.
sɛ ɛbɛ ka sɛ bɛ nanso wɔn deɛ wɔn gold no ɛyɛ yi a yɛn wɔn yɛ no ɛkun fi baabi a south africa foɔ no mu a ɛna wɔn yɛ no na yɛ yi.
nti sɔ ɔbɔ ase. ɛna yɛde maa yɛne abibifoɔ ebi saa na yɛn nso yɛde kɔgye sika sɛ deɛ ɔmo kan yɛ. yɛakrakyefoɔ akosua mining engineering ne yɛn nyinaa yɛntumi fɔ ɔmo ŋun mu ɔmo nyɛ.
sɛ ɔbɔ ase ɛna sɛ bɛ ka yɛn ni anananom kɔgye tu hɔ na sɛ bɛ yɛmmerante bi kɔgye na sɛ sɔmɔde yɛ yɛ a kɛ yɛmmerante a yɛkɔ sukuu kɔ so engineering asua sɛ bɛ kɔ ɔdo hu nyina nke yɛn ti bi deɛ ɛmɛ sɛ bɛ ka wɔn ɛmu yɛ a.
ɛno na ne ɛwɔ sɛ ɛno ne asɛm ɛda hɔ a ɛwɔ si yɛhwɛ ne ɛne abɛn ɛne constitution review committee no hwɛ saa provision na ɛwɔ constitution na ɛwɔ mu no ne yɛn hunu kwan yɛn de bɛfa so.
saa ma na sɛ yɛhwɛ na ne sɛ bɛ constitution review no ka ho asɛm na sɛ bɛ ehu kwapa bɛfa so wɔ na saa no ma ne nyinaa ne na sɛ wɔde wɔn nyinaa adwene ho na sɛ bɛ ɔman yi no mpuntuo ne ɔman kɔ soɔ no sɛ ɛtuma ɛtuma ka ho.
western region western north ɛwɔ nyinaa mines wɔ hɔ gold na hɔ no nti wɔn ntumi nfɔ wɔn company ma yɛn fa ma bibifoɔ ne yɛn fa nkɔpɛ busia ma ma yɛn ma ɛhɔfoɔ no nyinaa nyɛ adwuma na sika no nso nka ghana.
zoro ɔsi western region western north ne nyinaa sɛbɛ etu gold wɔ hɔ ti hɔ no sɛbɛ mmeranteɛ no ba wɔ yi yɛntumi nyɛ ne ho sɛbɛ yɛn fa sɛbɛ gold na wɔn mu no ɛntumi kɔ gye sika ɛmɛ bi ɛyɛ ma ne ne yi ɛmɛ wɔ sika no ɛnkɔ ɔmɛ mu ɛyà.
ɛnu ansɛ geological survey ne minerals commission wɔn ti yɛ survey hu baabi a deposit ne wɔ yɛn prepare adeɛ no to hɔ ma yɛn na kyerɛ sɛ obi bura ba sɛ nɛteɛ ɔne ne kan ne ehu sɛ ha na deposit wɔ ha na deposit wɔ ha eti sɛ wɔ ɔfin so asase so a ɛwɔ yɛn hunu wɔ ne yɛn ne na ɛka wɔ hifa asase so a ne yɛn hunu ne yɛn ne na ɛka ti ba saa no a bɛkɔ traditional council wɔnyɛ bi deɛ ɔba nso wɔnyɛ bi ne royalty na ɛyɛ dɛn equity ne ɛwɔ mu a wɔsɛ onya ne da hɔ afe bɔ ɔma mo dididie no royalty na yɛ ni abira yɛ ka ho
asɛm. ana wɔn yɛrɛ ka ho asɛm no ɔsi nyinaa sɛ bɛyɛ pampa so na yɛagye saa ahyehyɛeɛ no na sɛ saa ahyehyɛeɛ no na sɛ sɛ ananom ɛbaa equity no ɛda hɔ ma nkyiri ma wɔ ɛnyɛ rɛdi sɛ mo ka sɛ yɛdi asɛm ne yɛ na asa no The adwene no ho na ne hyɛ dia na kutina bɛboa na da ho na abo ntima aban no yɛ na ban ka tese bɛ adwuma e ma sa de so yɛ adwuma
and na the Minerals Commission for Minister no mbaya and no the be committee
jo
na ya to adwene aboa wo mu sɛ ne concession oboa si ohini phone paper
jo
mineral royalty eba no sɛ ne yɛ no one year man license na sa no bi beba yɛ mining wo konongo kwan bɛ ne fa so wo hene no involvement ne sɛn
jo
and the any aba dwendwen ho ne atintim de akɔboa wo mu
jo
na wo mu ahyehyɛ ne yie sɛ de bɛ ya woto a yɛ ma concession wo enkran wo ba no abɛdwan ne sɛ ma concession wo abra na nan nim ho hwe
jo
ɛno de ɛnyɛ de bɛba no mo ahwɛ ama yɛ ne mo ne mo ayɛ nhyehyɛ pam na yie
jo
na emom ne kɛseɛ de nananom anya Minerals Commission fo mu nyama ne bia yɛ na wɔse yɛ ne constitutional review kan ne yɛ hunu kwan yɛ de bɛfa so ɛbɛyɛ ni
jo last week was the one to the money na make no dem kwa pa sebe e kwa fa sa no ni na so na ko ti an tim gata ni na na sebe e da bra no to dia boy ne mo ne kase I reckon on sebe tumi no a na mo ni su tumi no e da sebe be de ka wa so me se that's what for the winner man bia o mo de bi da ma wo na sebe o na make no so na make kwa pa e ba so be sa ni na be da wo na mo to dia boa na magana na ya go so na ya dwene kasi ya dawo na tabi ro ka masa
di na de na asumja hen mining engineer
yo
obeda no legal counsel lawyer obeka ho
yo
ade sabronom onso obeka ho commission ade na ade Tomi Abraham so wo lands commission me boa onso obeka ho na fe asafo hen wo echamfo wo ho ma onso nka ho
yo
monye Minerals Commission for proposal ni nyina idea ban
yo
na mo analyze nyina na mo frɛ nananom
yo
mo hyɛ da ma nananom nyina obi owo bibia o meka na mo ntro ni nyina within 1 month na fa nkɔma wo mu
yo
say proposal ni
yo
ya wo ba ye mining say ni ji so mo ye no ye
yo
royalty say ni nim so mo ye na ye
yo
kwan say na mo de fa so ye na de ama wo mu no mo ahwɛ say de be ya wo mo yi wo mo final report akɔma aban a me no mo de aka ho
yo
enti no de ene bosome
yo
mo ba hia nananom ne standing committee nyina legal counsel na mo ahwɛ na mo ahyehyɛ ni nyina aka mo
yo
nananom obi o wadwen bi afa de ye ke hu nyina mo mo awo mo mfa ntwo
yo
ye fa nkɔma Minerals Commission for say de be yom so be hunu say yen so ya dwen a ye hyehyɛ ni
yo
na ewia afa de achieve house no ntrase
yo
ye proposal to a constitutional review committee the end be ye nya na de achieve trase na so ya hwɛ
yo
na so ya hwɛ na so ye de akɔ na enema pii nso wɔ constitution wɔ se ye chance na ye de proposal no kɔ
yo
national house of chiefs nko ya ye so ye betua twɛ de akɔ
yo
ye ne ye hunu sɛ we na ha ye the national house of chiefs ehunu a ye de wɔ se ye hunu de wɔ mu a nya
yo
ɛno de nka na de ho na so ya hwɛ ne ya ye ne nyina
na so de you la se no se na mo yi mo transit na mo fera no nyina na no de help ya no mo hwɛ papa ma se sa ba nyina na se be mo de catch ka ho ye do ya so ka ho o nti ni nyina wi ka se ba kyerɛ no o hwɛ e da ko na no se be ko ba la so ti ko yi ya ko a no se be de ha na so a o so ke na o so de ke wi ka ho a bi ko abo a ya be na se de na mo le o tue no na se be wi a no na mo bi ka iwura tse so da ye se ko su no aye no no be ba se be si na no fine a ha na no nyina so ya le fi ho se be national association ayi mu ya Asante we just to the hu ni atitim data la ko ma ba ni aboa ma se to pa bia no ato no ba
abeda ministers ubeda commission for assessment ne o mo nya adaje abecheche mu nyina ma ya dwene bi e wo mu bia de bebrem no so de ahwe aboa yen why
minister iro so no pa fu nyina do nyina ma so pa se ma ba na adaje abecheche se nyina mu eni ma bi ma bo ma na ma ya na ma ko so ma abecheche nyina mu ono so the main purpose of our server, and we are doing a swan, but see the number to the way in the chapel.
Okay, see you send Crater and also the Beboa bread, you are in there. Omo de me and Sanka said a bay or more year will report to whom
see you to was so said that we are also the bread and the name, Cobertino, then it's the young what I name our home. If a ball, I must have say, as you shall back to the two bedroom, and to the two bedroom.
registrar minerals commission for proposals ni na sɛ wobɛnya bi wonya bi nso ano nya de ama committee bi wobɛhwɛ mu ne yɛde ayɛ adwuma no nyinaa ama yɛ
ɛsɛ last commission for ɔno sɛ proposal no nyinaa minerals commission ɛsɛ wonya sɛ wonya bi so a sɛ wodaka kyɛ sɛ wɔ no na wɔfɛ bi ma wo wɔfa committee no na wɔhwɛ ma papa so sɛ bɛyɛ biribi anka akyi na biribi bɛde mu fae
yɛda mineral commission for n'asɛnti yɛde yɛbɛtumi ama wɔn akɔ akɔgye ahome na aka yɛn nkoa na yɛasa ne yɛwie
mineral commission ɛyɛ minister tó bɔ sɛ ɔdɛm afɔ paapa wɔn sɛ lɔdi efo de wɔn so ètò wɔn mɔ kwan na makɔ tuntun ɔfoforɔ no ɛnna ɔka no sɛ aseda mɔnyɛ adagye aba bɛ kyekye sanse
nyinaa wasi dan kɛseɛ bi minerals commission si dan wɔ ha sɛ ama ɛwɔ yɛda wɔn ase papa.
tó bɔ sɛ lele tó so bi minerals commission ɛbɛtu yɛ wɛrɛ mu yɛ bɔ wɔn asase ho wɔsi dan so kama ama asase man ɛno nso ɔdɛm ase paapa.
ɛkyɛ wa ne yɛafrɛ nanam bi ne akɔhwɛ mu wia.
sɛ mu wia ewura ama nanam bi akɔhwɛ na ebia no kɔ a sɛbɛ ewura no ɔbɛhwɛ papa so ɛbie sɛ ahyɛ tatuma ne nyam ɔdɛm ase ti minista ewura sɛ fa na hɔ nom a mbɛtuma bɛkyia